So there's a couple things that I was thinking about talking about tonight. Um, and we'll get into them in a second. But let's start. Okay, well, yeah, let's start with something really happy. So everyone knows a lot of shit's been happening in the world, and depending on what you guys want to talk about tonight, we can get into it or not. This is Wednesday night, Wednesday, May 25th, 8:48 p.m. And so Tuesday night, yesterday, after the shooting at the elementary school, pretty tough day, overall, especially being the parent of a kid. And I went to bed. The Yankees had just tied the game up again. Trevino had hit a single in the seventh inning, I think, after King came in, who I've been calling Mariano Rivera 2.0 and has his worst outing. Now he's moved into high leverage positions because the other thing I want to talk about, all the injuries that the Yankees all of a sudden have. But King comes in, gives up the 3-run homer to Roogie of all people, and porches it to right field. So I'm like, fuck, they're going to lose this game. And then I saw Torres hit the homer and I see Trevino get the hit. So I go to bed. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to hope that they win. I see that they win. I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. But in the morning when I woke up, I saw that it was Trevino who got the hit. And I was like, wow, he had a big night because he had a home run early on in the game. He had the single that I just mentioned. And then he had the game winning hit. Come to find out, it was his dad's birthday. Now, his dad's been gone since 2013, but it was his dad's birthday yesterday. And he's from Texas. And so the first thing he did in the post-game interview was acknowledge what happened with the massacre. And I just thought, like, how special sports is. Like, I talked about it in my book. I talk about it with people all the time. Like, sports is really a community builder that I think gets overlooked sometimes. And like, yeah, there's those people out there who like don't want anything to get in the way of their sports. They don't want any of the talking heads to talk about anything but sports because they just want it to be a distraction. And I get it. And that's what I used the Yankees for last night. That's what I'm using the Yankees for tonight as well. But I was like, how cool is it that a guy from Texas who's grieving, it's his dad's birthday. He's gone, but it was his dad's birthday. He's only playing because Higashioka is on the COVID IL.
He's a lifelong Yankees fan.
He's a lifelong Yankees fan. Had practiced it in the backyard with his dad.
And so did you hear Kay on the broadcast today?
No.
His dad used to tell him all the time, you're going to be on the Yankees and you're going to get a walk-off. You're going to have a walk-off one of these nights. And before the game yesterday, Michael Kay talked to him while he was sitting drinking coffee out of his dad's favorite coffee mug, which was a Mickey Mantle coffee mug. So it was like a very important day for him. And for him to have that kind of performance was incredible. He had 3 RBI, 3 for 4 night, or 2 for 3 night, or 3 for 4.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, playing him all the time.
Yeah.
I used to be a big Higgy supporter. Whatever. Higgy can ride the bench. Play Trevino.
I mean, it's just so cool. And it's a big reminder. I think, like, we're obviously sports fans because we nerd out about it. We love the competition. We love the history. There's a lot of things about sports, but then there is that special, like, community building. There's the way that so many times in our country's history or in world history, 9/11, the Boston marathon bombings, those are a couple things that are coming to my head, at least right away, where communities rallied around their sports team to get back to normal, and Katrina and the Saints and everything.
That was a big deal for them.
Yeah, that was huge. And it's just so, in the face of everything, it was a great way to start the day, because I was still feeling, you felt like hungover, even though I didn't have a drink or anything. You just woke up and you were like, is this the world I live in? And everything. And to hear that story, that was really special. And I just thought we should definitely tell that story for the people who maybe don't follow baseball or don't follow the Yankees or like the Yankees or whatever it is, and just really showcase, like, how special sports are. And the impact that it can make, the positive impact, even if it is just a distraction. And, maybe there's the people out there who are like, well, we shouldn't be distracted. We should be doing something. But I mean, like, you got to enjoy life too.
Yeah, it's a good distinction. Like, it's a distraction. We're not saying it's more important than what's going on, but right. It is for everyone's mental health and for everyone's, blood pressure, for lack of a better, like, it's important. And I'd say it's worth just checking out the video of Trevino hitting his walk-off hit.
Yeah.
Because just his elation there, like, he has the hit, he takes 2 steps, then he sees it got past the third baseman, and he got that big, like, smile and does a small fist bump, and then he just starts putting his hands out like, I got it. And it was just really neat. It was really neat to see. And any kid who's played baseball and dreamed about making the majors, dreams of that moment, and to see him get it. Now, the other stat, did you see the other stat they talked about? This is his second walk-off hit in his career. And both times he's knocked in Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Wow. Teammates in Texas before they were on the Yankees. So I think he knocked in Kiner-Falefa twice last night. But
wow. He did knock him in twice.
Yeah, that was a neat one.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And they weren't, that Trevino wasn't part of that. It's the other guy who's on the IL, right? The 60-day IL who came over to the package for the Twins.
Trevino is here just because the Yankees needed a backup catcher.
Right.
But he also has talked about how he loves being on the Yankees. He loves the feel of the team. He feels like, even though his traditional stats, his batting average and home runs, don't look all that great, he's like, the Yankees saw value in me, because he's considered one of the best defensive catchers in the leagues in terms of pitch framing.
Sure.
And so to go back to sabermetrics and stats wise, advanced stats for everyone listening, pitch framing essentially, based on his subtle movements, he gets extra strikes during the game that equate to extra outs that other catchers may normally not get, just based on how he moves the ball as he catches it, to fool the umpire into calling more strikes. So he's very good at that. He's very good defensively, and the Yankees brought him on and saw that value. And he said that it means a lot to him that they saw the value in him. They brought him on, and he's getting chances to play. I mean, he has as many at bats this year as Higashioka. Just, I looked it up today.
Wow.
I think Higashioka's got 5 more plate appearances, but they have the same number of at bats. And his stats actually look way better at the plate. Yeah. He's plus 0.7 WAR. Higashioka's negative 0.7 WAR.
Yeah.
There's a win and a half there. And so he's performing. He's doing exactly what he needs to do as a backup catcher, and he's really enjoying it. And they also talked about, though, that even when he's not playing, him and Higashioka are kind of like a hive mind. They're always talking. They're always discussing, how to approach hitters and strategy during the game. And Garrett Cole came out and said, "Hey, this guy's great. Like, he does he's always in the game. He's playing when he's on the bench. He's still playing in the game. He's discussing strategy. He's coming over to me and telling me if I'm doing something wrong or how to approach hitters." And again, that's all just really heartwarming. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I hope he stays on the team.
Yeah, I think he's earned a spot, and I think you just nailed the point that I've said on this podcast before, and I just want to say it again. But the addition by subtraction, is the biggest move that the Yankees made this offseason. Getting rid of Gary Sanchez. Yeah, you missed the offense, and the Twins are doing okay this year, and he's providing a little bit of offense for them. But up until recently, they haven't really needed help on an offense. They've had a rebound year from pretty much everybody but Hicks, and and so it's like, all right, your catcher's not going to give you offense, but to your point, if they're going to improve the way that the pitching staff is pitching and get more strikes and everything, I mean, and that whatever that laziness attitude that was carrying over to Glaber and everything, like that's forever for me. Depending on, I guess, how things turn out with Glaber, we could revisit this, but at least from the start, it just looks like that was the best move that Cashman made this off season, excuse me.
Gary's got 0.3 WAR. Trevino's got 0.7.
Fucking hilarious. Oh my God.
Wow.
Backup scrap heap. Texas Rangers catcher.
Yep.
Wow.
And now Gary's actually got a half a game offensive WAR, but his D WAR is -0.2. So
yeah.
It's ridiculous how bad he is as a catcher. But
sorry, Timmy.
Timmy won't hear this anyway.
Yeah, sorry,
no worries. And to finish up with the Yankees, and then let's talk about our beers since we're all sipping on it here. It's kind of alarming what's happened over the course of the past 5 days. Michael K was talking about this earlier in today's game. In the last 5 days, Gil and Green both had Tommy John surgery, or both had to go on the IL for Tommy John surgery. I don't know if Green's had it yet. I know Gil has. Stanton went on the IL for calf injury. DJ is day-to-day. He got a cortisone shot in his wrist. And there's one other person that, Loizaga went on the IL today with right shoulder inflammation. Shoulder's never good. That's just as bad as the elbow. And
Donaldson, Higashioka, and Gallo were all on the COVID list.
Right, COVID, and
someone's got
suspended for
too.
Yeah,
someone's got oblique problems.
Oblique. I don't know, but this is a totally different team, and I know they're playing the Orioles tonight, but now they got to go to Matt's favorite place in the world, Tampa, and play the lovely Rays for a 4-game series before finally getting a scheduled off day on Memorial Day on Monday. They've had a couple rainouts during this like really long, brutal stretch that they've performed pretty well, and they're the first team to 30 wins in baseball this year. But the team they were for the first 7 weeks of the year has already just drastically changed, and it'll be really interesting to see how the resolve is during this first bout of adversity.
Don't say it's my favorite place. I just want to see a game down there. Although, you know what they said though? Two of the games have sold out already.
Saturday, I think is sold out.
Yeah, which is nuts for the Rays. No one ever goes to those games. I mean, you're essentially playing in a leaky gymnasium with like catwalks suspended from the ceiling that are in play. Yeah. I mean that's right. It's but I don't know why, guy. I want to see a game there. Maybe it's a misguided thought that I can get good seats. Maybe it's just it is. I having been to Tampa once before, I can tell you it's in a weird part of town. It's not easy to get to. It's just kind of this imposing structure on a city block, but there's a couple breweries kind of close, and make an afternoon of it.
I mean, I know we joked about it and said that we would go to a Savannah Banana game before we'd go to a Rays game, but if we're gonna like explore Tampa and everything, like I could get down for that. I could say like, okay, let's spend a weekend in Tampa, explore, and
but there's one big difference between those two teams. The non-affiliated independent league Savannah Bananas actually sell out their games. So
right, all of their games. Yeah,
like there's a waiting list. There's a multi-year there's a waiting list.
Yeah,
amazing.
Also, did I talk about Banana Ball last time? Maybe I should talk about it tonight. We'll talk about that later. Okay, we'll talk about Banana Ball later.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about beers then. Matt, you were just sipping on yours. It looks delicious.
Oh yeah, so I've got 2 Pilsners from Human Robot tonight. I'm wearing my Human Robot shirt.
Are you drinking both of them together?
No. I was thirsty and drank this one first.
Okay.
Now I'm drinking Rangi. It's a New Zealand. So it's a Pilsner hopped with New Zealand hops. So Human Robot's known for their lagers and Pilsners. Probably my favorite brewery in Philly. But next weekend, June 4th, they've got their big log jamming festival. Why is it called log jamming? Because it's going to be full of lagers. Lager. Yeah. So they make pilsners and lagers. That's they're called claim to fame. They're very good at it. They're excellent beers, and they're inviting 40 or 50 breweries that are also well known for making lagers and pilsners to town. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a VIP at the event with my brother. We'll be having some fun, enjoying a lot of the beers. But I went last night to their second location in town and met my brother. They've got a German themed beer house in northern Philly called in a spot called Jenkintown. So I got some schnitzel, and it was good. Very tasty schnitzel.
Love schnitzel.
First time I've ever had schnitzel. And I just like saying schnitzel. And had some beers and got some beer to go there. So it was a good trip.
Awesome.
So yeah, enjoying it tonight. What are you drinking, Colin?
Aloha.
Put it in front
Surfer.
of your face. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Aloha Surfer from my favorite brewery in Raleigh, North Carolina, Trophy Brewing.
Hell yeah, Trophy.
Very, very cool place. Good beer, good food. Their pizza, I forget what type of pizza it is, but it has honey on it. And I'm usually a Kevin McAllister, like just give me the cheese pizza type thing. But man, this pizza is really, really good.
Have they expanded? Because I went there in 2014 and they were like their brewery and restaurant was like a shoebox. Like it was tiny.
Then it must have, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't huge, but and they had outdoor seating. Did they have outdoor?
No, they didn't back then.
Yeah. So it might be a different location.
Yeah, known for their pizza, known for their beer. Good place in Raleigh. Awesome. Yeah. Do you have any more of that? You should keep it for this weekend.
I do have. I'll save you one. Yeah. Yeah. I gave one to my dad. I drank one the other day, and this is the third. So I think I have one left. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't get it from Trophy. I didn't get a chance to go to Trophy, but I went to Wegmans because it's like 5 minutes down the street from my parents' house, and just they had it, and I was like, "Yep, that's what I'm doing." So,
yep.
Yeah.
Ethan, what do you got? That can looked a little different.
Yeah, I've had this one before, or one from this company. True Respite Trout.
It's got fish on it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice like drawing painting of a trout. It's just a lager. Tasty. I've had it before. It's out of Montgomery County, Maryland, which is where I live. The county that's right next to DC with Bethesda and stuff. And I think I live like maybe 15-20 minutes from the brewery. I've never actually been there.
We'll have to go there next time I'm down.
Yeah. The lager, I mean, I've had their lager and their Hefeweizen because a mutual friend brought them to a party we had. Yeah,
and I know other people you live with really like Hefeweizen, so that's I'll have to try that. So
exactly, yeah, and they were both solid. Like this is a nice lager. And because I ran out of my other half stash last night, I had my last one last night. So
well, you'll get some more this weekend. Don't worry.
Perfect. Yeah,
with all those hefts, you should bring them up to Syracuse and take them to Wolf's. They can get some beer there.
Oh yeah. I guess they probably have a lot of that up there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's like German what that type of. Yeah, it's all German beer there.
Yeah. Nice.
No, that's awesome. I got the Citra Week pack right now, so
okay, sweet. I'm excited.
I'm bringing your full allotment down. I figured, well, since Devin, if he does listen to the show, Devin, I'm talking to you. If not, you're missing out. But since he won't be there, I was just going to bring the beer to share, but now it's all going to go to Ethan. So,
yeah, Devin, boo,
you're lost.
Fuck the Celtics. I hope they lose tonight.
Yeah, I got something for you, Colin, too. Don't worry. I got a milkshake IPA from the OG Milkshake Brewery for you. Yes. So
very cool.
It's different than the fruit punch one I brought you last year, so don't worry.
Nice. I was gonna say we'll talk about it offline, but I'm gonna do a beer run for some Charlotte beer so we can talk about what you guys want me to.
Oh shit! I got one I want you to look out for. So
you want me to
put it on here. There's a company in North Carolina making a Cheerwine lager. If you see that, I want it.
Cheerwine?
Cheerwine, like the old cola, the soda?
It's not a cola. It's a cherry soda beverage.
I thought it was like a cola type thing.
Yeah.
Isn't cherry soda cola?
No.
What's cola?
Actually, okay. I know part of the answer to this because I've been watching this anime show called Dr. Stone. And it's super cool but anime is like wild. This is my first real anime I've ever watched before. Anime is fucking wild. What is it? Japanese like cartoons, Japanese animated TV shows.
Pokemon.
Yeah. And so not Pokemon. And so like you listen to like Japanese, like the Japanese voice actors, and you see like the English dubs, but like the animation style, the vocal like it's very unique. It's its own thing. It's fascinating. But in any case, this Dr. Stone one is like basically like glorifying science. It's like about science, and I won't go into all the other details, but suffice to say, it's very cool. And there's conflict, right? It's not just like science. There's conflict, right? Point being, in one episode, they talked about making cola, And
cola nut.
Lime and cilantro are part of it. I remember. I don't remember what else, but I remember that lime and cilantro are like an important part of cola.
From Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lime and cilantro.
It's an herbal drink. It's an herbal mix. So there's a cola nut. There's, you can have lime in there. You can have cilantro. You can have different herbs and roots. The coca leaf, which is why Coca-Cola used to have cocaine in it, because it had the coca leaf in it. It's an herbal drink. And the reason I know, Ethan, not your reason's much cooler, but like Red Bull a couple of years ago tried coming out with Red Bull Cola, which was like all natural, like made from just herbs and spices and naturals. It tasted like crap. But I got a bunch of free stuff because they would just leave a bunch around campus when I was in college. So I'd be like, well, you just left 44 packs. I'm going to take 6 of them because I can carry that.
I'm picturing that was such a good image. God, we gotta get screenshots of these. I'm picturing Matt like walking down the streets of Cleveland with this like 6 4-packs.
Now, just put like Family Guy tuba music behind it. Like,
yes.
As I'm trying to carry these.
Perfect. Yes.
Which at that point I already knew I didn't like how they tasted, but they were free and I was in college, so like I'm gonna take as many as I can carry.
Yeah. So we're in the process of helping people. So Matt, I have a question for you. Finally, in Charlotte, it's rained. It didn't rain today, it didn't rain yesterday, but it rained a lot on Monday, and it rained a little bit on Sunday as well. And I've been keeping the lawn. We just got new landscaping, so I've been keeping the length of the lawn like at the highest setting of the lawnmower because I don't want it to burn, especially with we had like 3 straight weeks of no rain, and it was just me watering the lawn, and it's already hot down here and everything. So anyway, this morning, wake up and there's mushrooms, not all over, but in a lot of areas of the grass. And so Tottie's, freaking out and everything. And so I did some research, but I want you to confirm. It doesn't seem like mushrooms are a bad thing. It actually signifies that you have healthy soil, which is new for us. We had very unhealthy soil for a long time, and it basically what I read was just leave them alone, mow them when you mow the lawn, or when the sun comes out it'll burn them off.
You can kick them down if you want, but spoiler alert for Toddy when you're listening to this tomorrow morning on your run. There's mushroom spores and fungus spores everywhere. I just breathed in some fungus spores. I did it again. I just breathed some out.
You guys should watch I think it's on Netflix. I can't remember. There's a documentary came out a couple years ago called Fantastic Fungi.
It's amazing.
It's fascinating. Mushrooms are fucking crazy, and they are everywhere, and there's so many kinds. It's like super fascinating. It's really, really interesting. Yeah.
But Colin, you're right. It is a sign of healthy soil. And usually just from appearance and unwanted things, you can, like I said, you can go kick them over if you want.
Mm-hmm. They're like little mini ones, though. They're like this big.
I mean, they'll get bigger, but it's just a sign that there's some spores there that have the right conditions to grow. They're not necessarily going to compete with the grass. They don't need the same things. For everyone who's on the podcast listening, I work for Scott's Miracle-Gro.
I looked at it. I looked at an article specifically by Scott's, by the way.
Okay, so Scott's has 2 plants located down here because there's a lot of mushroom growers, and mushroom growers, meaning the people who grow mushrooms for your food at restaurants and at the grocery store, when they're done with the dirt that they grow their mushrooms in, they let it age for a year in a field, and then we buy it because at that point, after a year of aging, it's still really good it's a really good high nitrogen base for plants. It's just not what they need for mushrooms anymore. So, they're not competing for nutrients. You're not going to have mushrooms take over your lawn and kill all your grass. If you get a lot out there, I'd say walk out there and kick them over. But spores are everywhere. It's just nutrient and moisture combination with the spore in the right spot that led to some mushrooms growing. Okay. But it's tough because there's certain fungi that will grow in mulch too, and like people don't want to see that. People put mulch down because they want it to look nice, and There's actually one we just colloquially call it at Scott's the dog vomit mushrooms because they're fungus because it looks like dog puke and it's terrible. Like you don't want it. It looks bad. You don't want that on your mulch. So we try and do certain things to avoid that as well. So
yeah. Okay. Well, the heat is picking up again starting tomorrow here. It's been a little cool. It's been like 70 degrees the past couple of days. So it's been cool. It rained. It's mostly in the shady condition. So I wasn't worried about it. And I just want to make sure that, I mean, A, the heat's going to pick up. B, I'm going to mow the lawn before you get here. But when you get here on Sunday, that you're not going to yell at me.
No. No, I'm assuming it's already going to look a lot better than last year. So don't worry.
Oh, I mean, 100 times better.
Did I bring you dirt last year?
Yep. I still have some. You'll see the only parts that haven't really taken are edges. Everything else looks great. So if you just like ignore the edges, it looks really good. But there's a couple edge areas that definitely didn't take, and we'll have to figure out a way to rectify that. But yep, definitely looks 100 times better. It'll be a whole new lawn. It is a whole new lawn. Fascinating stuff.
Dirt talk. I love it. I was just thinking, is there an emoji for dirt so you can put that in your little post tomorrow or whenever you
I think there is.
drop the episode?
Let me look.
That'll be one of the segments.
Dirt talk.
Is dirt talk. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Let's see.
We got to get little sound bites of these things to save.
I mean, you could put the poo emoji there since like mushroom compost has a little bit of horse manure mixed in. So
that's true too. Yeah, but
there is no dirt.
That would make people literally think poop talk though. They're gonna think we're actually like talking about feces.
But that might get people's attention. So.
True, I guess so. Yeah.
We've got what the people want. I mean, Joe Rogan spews shit and gets millions and millions of listeners. Why can't we talk about poop and try and get some,
Yeah, exactly. Fair enough. Yeah,
exactly, Matt. This is why we have you. Wow. So good. All right. Well, I had a couple other things I want to talk about just really quick, and then we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk
about. Banana ball.
I wanted to ask you guys, banana ball. All right. Imagine a world where the pandemic happens, as it did, and instead of Michael Jordan's Last Dance documentary, Derek Jeter's documentary, The Captain, comes out, and people are feeling the exact same way they were in the early parts of the pandemic back in April 2020. Do you think that The Captain is as popular as The Last Dance was? Because I already know that The Captain will not be as popular as The Last Dance is in the real universe, but had it been the documentary that came out in April of 2020, would it be as popular? Or was it because Michael Jordan is just the biggest a-hole, the biggest competitor, one of the most interesting athletes of our generation, and Derek Jeter is like pretty boring, all things considered?
I'll let Ethan answer first.
I think the MJ one would be bigger regardless. Yeah. I think even if the Jeet one had come out like early on in the pandemic when people were at home and like doing lots of shit, and like the MJ one was to come out now, for instance, I think MJ would still be bigger because I think that he's just more transcendent of an athlete. I think Jeter is pretty transcendent, but I think if you ask the average person on the street, have you heard of Michael Jordan? It's going to be a really high percentage. Have you heard of Derek Jeter? It'll probably still be a pretty high percentage, but I would be willing to bet that Jordan would be a higher percentage. And
interesting.
That's
even
my
though
guess.
Derek Jeter played for the Yankees.
Even though Jeter played for the Yankees, because
I'm not disagreeing.
Right. I think baseball is less popular. I think that's part of it. But I also think it's to your point about MJ himself being just such an interesting athlete just on his own, regardless of sport. And so yeah, my sense, and I'd be super curious to see like if there was any actual data. I doubt there is, but my sense is that Jordan is just known by more people and would garner more interest to that documentary. So I think that one would be bigger regardless.
Yeah, I agree. I think basketball lends itself to be more of a, one person can dominate a basketball game.
True.
And oftentimes in the early 90s, that one person was Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Whereas like Derek Jeter gets up 4 times a game and Yeah, he makes a highlight, and he sends.
But was also the worst defensive player in baseball history by like all the advanced statistics that we now have today.
In history,
dude, in history, and it's not even close. By defensive runs saved, it's not even close. Joe Paz wrote about it in the Baseball 100, friend of the podcast.
Okay, right.
Worst in history. Now, granted, you can measure there are different stats to measure defense. Defensive runs saved is just one of them, but it is a good one. It's a solid one. It's commonly used. Worst in history, not even close.
Okay. What do you think?
Regardless of position.
What do you think is the metric in basketball? If people wanted to argue that Michael Jordan sucked at something, the way people argue that Derek Jeter was a terrible shortstop, what do you think is the metric in basketball? Like, is it he wasn't he didn't have enough steals, or he missed too many 3-pointers, or like what would get people as like just the way you got riled up there, Ethan, about Jeter's defense?
I just think it's really interesting because there was this narrative when he was playing that is still held by people that he was some great defensive shortstop because he won some gold gloves and because he used to make those plays in the hole where he'd do the jump throw and everything,
backhand,
right? Yeah. And so people think that he's really good. But the thing is, if you were to watch Andrelton Simmons, for instance, who's one of the greatest defenders in history, do you know what he would do on that play? He would move over like a few steps, get there quickly. He wouldn't have to dive. He wouldn't have to slide. He'd snag it. He would stand there. He'd throw a fucking rocket. Boom. Nothing. Bam. Routine play.
I think Jeter had a rocket of an arm. I will give that.
No. Maybe when he was young. Not compared to these like the true like genius defenders.
Yeah.
Who's that guy that the Yankees got from Seattle? The shortstop that couldn't hit but was really, really good. He was like a bit player, bench player.
When?
Like 10 years ago.
10 years ago. From Seattle.
Shortstop.
To play for Jeter?
No. Didn't play. Not to play for Jeter. Just.
We'll have to see if we can. Yeah, look it up. But the question. I was going to answer though about Matt while you're looking that up. The MJ thing. The only thing I don't know that much about basketball, as you guys know. Only thing I can imagine that you could levy against him is maybe like, he was more of a scorer first and didn't do much in terms of rebounds and assists. Whereas now you have somebody like Russell Westbrook, who has like averaged a triple double for an entire season multiple times. Yeah. And LeBron, who's like an incredible scorer, but also will average, 8, 10, 11 rebounds and assists and shit like that. But it's just a different style of play, right? Like the game is different now. There are different styles of players. And I feel like that would probably be a stretch to complain about that in Jordan.
Well, and also, could you make the argument that defensive alignment matters as well, in the sense that Jeter played in a more traditional where he was probably out of position and had to make up more range as a result, whereas Simmons sometimes doesn't even need to take a step because he's right there, where the data says the ball's going to be hit, and everything.
Yeah, that might be part of it. But Simmons also has been around for a while. I mean, his first few years when he was like truly magnificent, like the shift was not as heavily used then. And also I think that the shift has more of an impact on the right side of the infield. I think it's more about all the lefty pull hitters. Like, I don't know if it, but I think you're probably right. I think that there probably is an impact there. But in the case of somebody like Simmons versus Jeter, I still think it's like negligible. But that is like a fair point. I'm sure that with if it was if Jeter's career, if they were shifting the way they shift now, I imagine his defensive numbers would have been somewhat better. Maybe he wouldn't have been the worst in history. He might have been just like top 5 or top 10.
Now, you're saying he's the worst shortstop?
No, regardless of position. In terms of
minimum
defense,
of what games, like
that I can't remember, but I remember like Gary Sheffield was also in the top 5 or bottom 5, maybe we should say. Yeah. I can't remember who else was in there, but at least the people that Joe Paz had listed in his piece, they were all people who had like long careers. So I think at least when he wrote about it, he had some sort of minimum for games or whatever. But yeah, didn't matter position. It was just defensive runs saved. And for Jeter, it was like negative 250, and the next person was like negative 190 or something.
Does the position? I mean, I'm just curious why Matt's doing his research. Yeah. Does the position of shortstop carry more weight than most positions?
Well, so that's a really interesting question. So I don't know how they do the calculations, but certainly when we think of premium defensive positions, we think of center and short and catcher, right? Mm-hmm. And so I have a feeling that whether or not it's sort of weighted more than other positions, even if it's not weighted more, it's probably exaggerated because Jeter probably had way more plays where he was touching the ball than somebody who played second base or somebody who played left field or something. Yeah. So that probably magnifies
especially in
things.
that era when there was a lot more rolling over, ground balls, things like that. Like the ball was on the ground more than it is in today's game.
Oh yeah, so, exactly. Yeah.
Brendan Ryan.
Oh, Brendan Ryan. I forgot about that. I feel like those were the crazy years maybe where he was on when me and Colin lived together, when those lineups were like, out of a fucking horror story.
Over
Jeter was hurt in 2013, so
3 seasons with the Yankees. 114 games, 1 home run, 17 RBI.
I was thinking of Brian Roberts for a second. I know he had a hot minute with the Yankees. Remember when he was supposed to be great for the Orioles?
Yeah, he stood there for a couple years.
He was there for he started the season with the Yankees and got hurt right away.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he was like Uke.
He pulled the Euclid. Yeah. What Euclid's 2 games?
I don't know. It was not many.
Well, now I gotta look that up.
Yeah, Uke was supposed to be Donaldson, and hopefully Donaldson hasn't turned some kind of weird corner with his crap that's been going on and everything. Because
yeah.
No, Euclid made it through 28 games. Okay.
Donaldson's probably played 28 games, right?
He hit 2 home runs as a Yankee.
There you go.
His OPS plus was 80.
Was that his final season?
Yeah, he's done after that.
Wow. Yeah.
He played half of 2012 with Boston, or a third, and then the second half of 2012 with the White Sox. And then he played 28 games with the Yankees and he was done.
Fascinating.
Wow. That was that terrible Red Sox team in 2012. So
was that the Bobby Valentine year?
That was the Bobby Valentine. Yep.
Hilarious.
Yep. After the beer and the chicken in the clubhouse with Beckett and Lester. Definitely Lester, maybe not Beckett. I don't remember, but
right. Wow,
hilarious.
Yep.
What else you guys want to talk about?
Banana ball.
Matt's been waiting forever.
Go for it.
Oh wait. Are you actually gonna let me talk about banana ball?
If you want to, yeah, why not?
I mean, you've only mentioned it 5 times today, so
banana ball 6 times. So the Savannah Bananas are a actual independent league baseball team. So they do play a regular baseball schedule under the independent league, rules, regular baseball rules.
And so when Matt says independent, he means that they're not affiliated with a major league baseball team.
Yeah. So they play teams like the Lake Erie Crushers and the Florence Yalls, teams that
is that a real team?
Yeah, they were the Florence Freedom, and they changed to the Florence Yalls. Way better name, by the way.
It's fantastic. Well,
okay, so history, Colin. About 10 miles from where I lived in Florence was a giant water tower that said Florence Yall on it in Florence, Kentucky, which was within sight of the baseball stadium there. It used to say Florence Mall, but through some legal, I don't know if it was illegal, the water tower can't be used as a billboard or something. I don't know, that the municipality said you can't advertise the mall on our water tower. So they just, instead of painting over it, they just changed the M to look like a Y. So it says Florence Y'all now.
Wow.
And Genius. They changed the name of the Florence Freedom to the Florence Y'alls. And I think it's way better.
Holy shit.
So the Savannah Bananas will play a regular schedule there, but they also, on the before and after the season, they'll have a banana ball schedule where they will try and engage other teams in their newly derived game of baseball, banana ball. And it's got they set out to say, how do we make baseball exciting? And they came up with a specific set of rules that they actually play tested with a bunch of college teams down in Georgia as well. So I'm probably gonna forget all the rules, but here goes. So there's rules like if a spectator catches the foul ball, it's an out.
Yep.
If you step out of the box, it's a strike. If you bunt, you're ejected from the game.
Hilarious.
You can advance to first on any pass ball, regardless of the count.
That's a rule they're testing in affiliate minor league.
Wow. Okay.
On a walk, you'll see when ball 4 is pitched, the batter takes off sprinting because the batter can advance legally until all 9 players in the defense have touched the ball.
Oh, super funny.
Wow. Yeah.
That was crazy.
And I don't know, like you'll see the pitcher literally throw his pitches as fast as they can. They're literally trying to fit in as much as they can. Innings are done. I'm probably missing rules here. They've got like a special sudden death extra innings rule too, where it's literally just like a pitcher, catcher, and 1 outfielder, and that's it.
Wow.
But what are the other rules? Oh man, like innings aren't it's cricket style. So like whoever scores, you win the inning. Whoever scores more runs in that inning wins the inning. And you get 1 point for winning the inning. And you play as many innings as you can until like you can't start an inning after 1 hour and 55 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So the goal is, I mean, you could score 50 runs in 1 inning, but if in inning 2 and inning 3, the other team beats you 2-1, you lose the game.
You lose. Wow. That's kind of cool.
Wow. So yeah, the goal is, again, and the whole thought was, how do we do this quickly? How do we make it fun? How do we make it engaging for the spectators as well? And so they are taking this on the road, literally as like a traveling road show. Like I think they played a couple series in Savannah and then a series in Kansas City against the Monarchs, which is an independent league team out there.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And it's been really well received. Now they said they were joking about the first couple times they did it. People in the stands didn't know what the hell was going on because that's where they have to kind of educate people as to what's going on.
Yeah.
But people love it. It's exciting. A lot's going on. I mean, it just looks like a lot of fun. I think I would enjoy watching that.
Yeah. Now you bring up something really interesting. I'm not going to debate that would be super fun. And I would go see it. But I don't necessarily know that even with all the problems that we talk about with baseball all the time and the slowness of the game, pace of play, rule changes, things like that. I don't know that most of those rules I would be cool with, like to watch a Major League Baseball game.
Well, and they address it. They say like, this may not change baseball at all. This might be just us doing a fun thing before and after our season.
Yeah.
But they want to make it they've got like a circus type attitude. They want to make it the greatest show on earth.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's working.
Yeah.
They sell out their minor league stadium every freaking game.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I mean, it kind of reminds me of like arena football, right? Like that's exciting, but it's not the NFL. And as much as the NFL tinkers with rules every single year, it makes it more offensive friendly. Like, it's never going to be arena football,
Yeah, but the difference is that the Savannah Bananas sell out.
Yeah. No, I 100%. I'm just, when I just remember being a kid and watching arena football and being like, wow, this is really cool. And this is back like when offense wasn't as big a thing in the NFL like it is now. But yeah, I guess it like I could see both sides of like, we just want to have fun and we want to do something completely different, and that's going to be exciting and that's going to be engaging and it's going to attract fans. But to drastically change the game that the three of us know and love in that way, like maybe like one of those rules I would be cool with. I don't know which one off the top of my head, but I just think there's like, as we've talked about many times, there are things within the game that can be easily fixed that would make the game better without making it like a kind of like a circus event, for lack of a better phrase.
Remember though, when the 3-point line wasn't always a thing in the NBA, and 2-point conversions didn't always exist in the NFL. So
yep.
Well, I think
pitch clocks never, that's coming, that they never existed. So like, baseball will catch up to some of these drastic things. Oh, it's coming. Automated strike zones, it's coming. Like those things are
but as David Cohen said the other night of the broadcast, even though there are way more hitters in the league than there are pitchers, there's more pitchers on the executive committee than there are hitters. So pitchers may not want that automated strike zone because they may not get the calls they want.
But I'm pretty sure the commissioner can. I'm pretty sure the commissioner can use his executive rule to get that in. I'm but like 99% sure.
Yeah, but Manfred's a clown.
I know.
Yeah,
but he the clown supports that.
Well, you were about to say something, Ethan?
Oh, I was just going to say that the thing to me that's interesting with the banana ball stuff is like obviously they're taking those things to an extreme, right? Because like that circus mentality, which is really cool and fun for what it is. In Major League Baseball, obviously you wouldn't want to take those to that extreme, but it could be that those are all ideas that at least get the juices flowing, right? The juices of creativity. And so, so in Major League Baseball, you don't have it set up where if you step out of the box, you get ejected, but maybe you have it where if you step out of the box, it's an automatic ball. That doesn't seem that circusy to me. Yeah. And that keeps the pace of play moving. That keeps people like, the game has to be focused and engaged. And maybe you have something on the pitcher side too. I don't know what you would do, but to make them fucking throw, because some of those guys take forever. But that sort of thing, right? Like obviously all of those rules are to an extreme that would not work for Major League Baseball. It would become a caricature, right? But,
so what's interesting though is that almost that exact rule almost already exists. It just never gets enforced in Major League Baseball. Like you're not supposed to be able to take as much time as pitchers and hitters take between pitches. And so they're testing this in the minor leagues right now. And we've seen headlines about 8-pitch, innings with 3 strikeouts or whatever it is, because they're calling strikes for batters who are taking too long to get into the box and really holding them accountable. Mm-hmm. And friend of the podcast, Joe Posnanski, thinks that's another thing that's coming soon to Major League Baseball, where they're going to finally enforce that and just the pitch clock for pitchers, but then there's also going to be the umpires are going to have their own clock for hitters and say like, get in the box, let's go, stop doing the Nomar thing.
You don't need to re-fucking
like
attach
this Sunday I saw the Phillies play and like Bryce took a strike and then sauntered around the infield. That seemed like okay, you got a strike, get back in the fucking box.
It's insane. And if you watch clips of like really old games and shit, like from decades ago, like that didn't happen. Like there would be
maybe like a foot out of the box,
the plate, and then they're ready to go again.
Yeah, maybe a foot out of the box so they could look down to the third base coach and get a sign or whatever.
And then boom.
Yeah, and that's why I love Judge and Stanton. I mean, they take a swing, they take a ball, whatever it is, they don't move. They're like, all right, bring it. Like, let's go. I'm better than you are. I don't need to walk around. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. Just throw the ball. I'm going to hit it 450 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, what was Neil on Sports Center? Neil something.
I know who you're talking about. Glasses.
Yeah, I will fight you and I will win. I miss him. I wish I still had cable. He was the only reason I watched Sports Center. Ursich?
I don't even know if I know exactly. Like I said, I can see the picture, but even if you said his last name, I don't know if I would know it.
Curly.
Yep.
Hair.
Gray hair.
Neil. ESPN.
Neil
Everett. Neil Everett.
Everett, yeah. Stuart Scott, Rich Eisen, the OGs.
Yeah.
Neil Everett was it for me. Because he was enough of a nerd, he kind of didn't fit in, and that's why I liked him.
Dan Patrick, Kenny Mayne.
Yeah.
Kenny Mayne just left like a couple of years ago. He had been there forever.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
Yep. Good stuff. All right, boys. Anything else? We're avoiding getting into some serious topics, but I'm sure everybody's caught up into that, and we just didn't want to get the blood flowing too much this late at night. But anything else? Any shout outs? Anything you want to talk about?
No, and you're right. Yeah, that's what it is. Like for me, the only stuff that's been on my mind is really heavy shit. And I mean, the Donaldson Anderson stuff isn't that heavy, but it's still, it's kind of I do think it would be interesting to talk about, but I don't know, maybe not right now. Maybe we could talk about it last night, although it will have or last night, next time, although it will have cooled down a lot by next time. Why did I say last night?
Yeah, there's still stuff coming out about that, so maybe give it another week.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm just I'm not in the mood to get into all the heavy shit. So I was thinking about like if we talked about the non-baseball heavy shit that you guys of course remember Mike and the Mad Dog, and for listeners who don't know, Mike and the Mad Dog were a really really popular radio show out of New York City, WFAN, and sports talk radio show. And really, really famously, you can still find this on YouTube. Pac-Man Jones is a former NFL player who committed some horrible crime. I can't remember what he did, but he's
in a strip club.
Yeah, he's not a good person. And Mad Dog Russo, Chris Russo, had a fucking meltdown about it because he had not been kicked out of the league yet. He was like still an NFL player and shit. And Russo just went off, and he like famously was like screaming, like "Throw him out of the league! Throw him out of the league!"
Throw him out of the league
over and over again. And
Show
he has
some
this
guts.
yeah, and he has this really really strong like New York accent, and he's like
his headphones were coming off.
Yeah, like he was fucking losing it, and that's what would happen to me, I think, and I don't want to do that. So, that's why I'm avoiding that stuff. I don't have the energy for that. But yeah. But that clip is worth watching for those who don't know it. Absolutely. If you just go to YouTube and look up Mad Dog Russo, Pac-Man Jones, you'll get it, and it's totally worth it.
Yeah, totally worth it. And I guess I just hope that we provided our own silly little distraction for everybody. We know the world is crazy. It's always crazy, and some times more than others. It seems more crazy than others, but yeah. It's there we go. Podcat. That's a great way to end the episode.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If you're listening, hop onto YouTube, go to the end of the podcast. You can see the podcat. Boris, just
very
having
cute.
a great time.
Great time. Yeah, or a tolerating time, anyways.
All right, boys. Meowing. Look at that look. Look at that look. That's a look of pure hatred.